come in useful. And I've had questions from, how do I cut the 3/4 PVC? Like, you know, do I cut it in half or do I cut it whatever? But anyway, we're going to go over a lot of that stuff. We'll get people prepping for a race. Well, we won't start our next season until March because of COVID. Generally, we start out in February at California, but California's as jacked off as any state has ever been in the entirety of the United States. So anyway, it's kind of sad. So we're going to start out in Gainesville, Florida. Of course, we're going to have a new sponsor. We can't really let that out yet. Hopefully we are anyway. And so we've been spending time here at the shop, getting everything ready. And you wouldn't believe when you think there's nothing to do, there's 100 things more to do. And during the race season, you always put those things off because you're so busy, concentrating just on the car. But it goes from trailer maintenance to building shelves to whatever to make everything better. So anyway, we got a couple people on here, so we'll get started real quick. Some of the questions I had was, how much PVC do I need and things like that. So I just wanted to come up with some simple instructions, and the first thing I come up with is just do a simple drawing of your house. You know what I'm saying? Just a simple drawing, and you're going to have to get a tape measure out. And if you know a gutter line, you don't have to get up on the roof per se. But if you know the gutter line is from here to here, just measure from that wall to this wall and come up with a number. Say it's, say that's 13 feet, or whatever it may be, So that's going to give you an idea about the amount of PVC. Now, here's a trick. If you've got 13 feet, and each light pretty much is a foot apart, okay? All these pre-strung stuff is mostly they're a foot apart. So how many lights would you use in 13 feet? Nope, it's not 13, it's 12. Because you're gonna have a little bit here and a little bit on each end. So you're gonna have 12 of these. And so anyway, so you can go through that and make a little diagram, and then you can figure out, okay, is this gutter or is this shingle, a fascia, whatever you're gonna do, because that's gonna be the type of mounting stuff that you're gonna do. How many miles per gallon does your moped get? That's funny. Well, I don't have a moped, but that thing that's right behind us, it gets, let's see here, on average, so it's 80 gallons per minute, and we run for 3.5 seconds, so the consumption is about, after the burnout, so about 7 gallons in 1,000 feet, if you can believe that or not. But it's a true story, because I can't even make that up. Anyway, Nitro times 2 is Larry Dixon's 2-seat top fuel dragster. Good friend of mine. For $10,000, you can go for a ride in one of these things. A lifetime experience. A lot of people have, and it's pretty crazy. Let's see, awesome information about hanging these lights like a pro. Appreciate that. Anyway, so figure this out. Figure out what kind of mounting you're going to do, and how much you want to do. Now, you don't have to do the whole house at one time. You don't even have to do that. You could just do maybe the front fascia part, where you only have like maybe 30, 40 foot at a time. Because it takes 15 minutes to do about 10 foot correctly. So we'll kind of go over that a little bit. So I've used black zip ties so you guys can see this real good. I've just put one on each one for right now, but I do put 2 on it. And this way that you can twist and turn these things straight to whatever angle that you want. So we'll bust a couple of them out real quick so you guys can see what's going on here. I usually put them all in the same direction because I'm OCD. That and they're easier to cut off. If they're all in the same angle, they're easier to cut off. So, so we'll do this real quick. You guys got any questions real quick before we get really rolling on this deal? Because I'm probably going to do a lot of talking. Okay, so we're going to go over that. If your strand of lights are longer than your section, yep, we're going to go over that. And that's been a big question I've seen on there. So that's one reason why I wanted to address this. So obviously I've left a bunch of extra on this little 3-foot section. And you see here I have no end. And this stuff here, I'm not endorsed by anybody. Lowe's, Amazon, Menards, any of those cats. There's holidaylightoutlet.com. There's even another one that's Creative Hobbies Outlet. All these places, I'm not endorsed by nobody, and the reason why I'm doing this is just to help people out, because I like killer Christmas lights, and nobody showed me this, and I just had to kind of figure it out for myself. You know, I used to put airline in my garage. I would have these clips, and we just mount these on the wall because nobody made a really good clip for PVC, and so I would just make these things here. So basically, you're making this out of 3/4 PVC, and it's actually, everyone asks me, say, hey, do you just cut it in, you cut it in half? Is that what you do? No, you don't cut it in half. You actually cut it like a third off of it. You can kind of see that. So it's kind of like when you were in driver's ed. You're always supposed to have your hands at 2 and 10. Is that right? I didn't take driver's ed, but that's what I've heard. Anyway, so I want to show you the difference. So you can see this one here is actually, it's cut a little bit above half, right? So I'm going to show you how that snaps on. It snaps on, but it's still difficult to turn it, but I can pull it off pretty easy with my hand. So this would work okay on a short run or whatever, but you probably don't want to do that. You can see here, this one's got a little more steam to it there. It's up at around that 10 and 2, but listen to the difference. I mean, that snaps on. You can see how it sets on there, and definitely it's got way more grip, you know. And then when you go to pull it out, it's pretty tight, you know. So anyway, you can adjust this to whatever you want by how much you cut off. If you carpenter people have a table saw, you can rip this stuff, you know. You can rip 3/4 PVC right on it, just set the fence up and just, you know, mow it right down there. Guys that have a bandsaw with a fence on it, it's pretty easy. But I have made a lot of them for people, all my neighbors and people that have been, you know, emailing me and everything like that. So we've been making batches and batches of these and sending them out. The thing is, it's just kind of time consuming. I wrote a program in my CNC that comes through here and busts all the holes out, and then you can kind of see here where it's countersunk. Kind of see that? And that's so stainless screw will drop right down inside of it. And that way, so it doesn't stick up where the pipe goes in at. So anyway, so that's got to be a certain depth. You know, you go too far, the hole gets too big, and then the head of the screw isn't holding anything. So it's got to be a certain depth. And then you got to come back and cut these things, you know, and it's an individual cut, you know. I bought these at Lowe's a while back, and it's kind of a double, I don't know, double throwdown deal. But anyway, so if you've never seen these before, I think they were like 16, 17 bucks or something like that. But, you know, it's just a boom, and there you go. So you have to do that to each one of these clips also. So it's just got a little bit of time in it. The pipe doesn't cost that much. It's $2 for 10 foot. And so there's not much cost in that whatsoever. You get to the 3/4, which you're not going to need very much of because that's what you're going to build the clips out of, and it's like $2.50 or something like that. Then you can also get the gray, depending on what your flashing color and stuff like this is. Now this is electrical conduit, which is also PVC, but this is supposed to have a little bit more UV rating for sitting outside. But if you look up PVC, and this is rigid PVC, like the stuff doesn't melt to like 212 degrees, and it doesn't get brittle until -14. So people have asked that question too, you know, hey, is it brittle, is it gonna break, is the sun gonna do it? I've had some up for 6 years, something like that, with my other house and stuff like that. So 6 years, and they're still good. So I'm not buying that just yet. Now we are in Indiana, and we don't get that a lot of sun, say like Phoenix or something like that. So I don't know per se how long they're gonna last in that area, but I would guarantee they'd be over 3 or 4 years. Plus, I think it's the cold that maybe makes it more brittle. The UV will, but they're way, you know, the white is also, you know, UV resistant too. So don't get scared you thinking that they're going to, you know, break and do all this kind of stuff. And if one does, guess what? You take a screw and you put a new one in and go, I haven't broke one, period. I haven't broke one. Somebody else was asking about what happens if you break a pipe. Well, in a 10-foot section of pipe, you got to be pretty much a real badass to break this stuff. And so if you break a pipe, you did something really bad wrong. That's all I can say. Because I've grabbed it from one end of a 10-foot and pulled it up as, as hard as I could and whipped it out of, the clips that are on the gutter or whatever, and not an issue. Another thing I've done, like if I'm on the roof taking these things down, if I can't reach them with my pole and pull them off, and there's some on my house that I can't do that, what I do is I throw them off the roof. So, and I don't get any damage. And the reason why is because this is it's a LED bulb. The people who make this is a holiday lighting outlet. You can buy them on Amazon. They're not cheap. They're about $1 a piece. If I'm sure if maybe you went direct and you bought 100 of them or whatever, you might be able to get a discount, something to that effect. But anyway, people ask also, well, why are you mounting them upright and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a sealed unit, the water doesn't get in. And plus it's LED, so if you had a glass one and it got wet and it's hot, there's a chance, A, it explodes. The glass goes everywhere. But this is plastic, but man, it is tough as hell. It's the best light that I've used, and so anyway, and I like LED because when you do have like a light show or something like that, and we'll talk about that too, but when you have a light show, the thing is instantaneous and it doesn't draw very much electricity at all. People always ask me, well, man, do you have a separate outlet box for for doing your lights with all those lights? No. 120 amp service, which is an outside outlet on a GIF, just like it's in your bathroom or whatever. An outdoor one powers everything on my home. And there's probably, I probably have 500 lights maybe, something like that. So don't even worry about that. I watched your videos and got my husband interested in doing this next year. Right on. I was checking out my following, and hang on, my camera's starting to go to hell. And it's kind of weird because what's happened here in the last week is that my percentage used to be 75% male and 25% female. That's probably from all my welding videos, machining videos, race car crap, things like that. But once I started talking about holiday lighting, women got really interested in this, and that kind of intrigued me because actually they were way more crafty thinking than a lot of men are. I am not a genius. I just don't like to work that hard. I will tell you this, at first, it is a lot of work. And that's why I recommend not doing everything at once. If you have that amount of time, which I don't really, I have 2 younger children, I have 2 older children. I work my ass off here at the shop. I have another business. We sell blower belts and timing belts for NASCAR and that kind of thing. So my time's pretty limited, but I do set aside time for my family. And anyway, with that being said, I just choose to do a section at a time when I do it. Because if you have a couple days off, maybe COVID has left you at home. Knock this thing out, man. 2 days and you're gonna do a tremendous amount of lighting, no doubt about it. Might be tired when you're done, but you're definitely going to be way farther ahead if you can just spend a couple days right straight in a row because you get a system together. So pulling this out, pulling that out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, back on lighting. Anyway, we got bulbs covered. These are C9s. Like I said, again, LED, low voltage draw. I'm serious. Everything I run is through my Mr. Christmas. It's in one of my videos, and if you look it up, I even put, I think I paid $120 or $30 for mine, and this was like 5 years ago. It has 20 songs on it. It's got the emotional Christmas ones. It's got rock and roll Christmas songs, that kind of thing. It's all good, but what they've done is they've changed the lighting to the song, right? So you can pick just rock and roll, you can pick all of them, or you can pick, the sloppy Christmas stuff. It has a speaker, external speaker on it, so you can crank that up and really run off all the neighbors. Or you can just leave it silent. You can actually leave the lights steady, or you can have them in motion, or you can have them all flash on and off with the music. So it's brilliant for what you have to buy. But then if you look on one of my videos, I found them at Best Buy. Best Buy is not sponsored by me. They have nothing to do with me. But I saw them on there for $69. And it was they were sold out within 3 hours of me doing that. And so Best Buy, you need to get a hold of me. You owe me some money. Anyway, So if you look that up, there's other places you can get them. Amazon used to carry it, but they don't carry it anymore. And we're going to continue on here with the next tip. All right, so zip tie cutters. I covered this a little bit. I think some of you have seen the videos, maybe some of you haven't. What can happen with a zip tie is if you cut them off incorrectly, and incorrectly would be like up that way. I don't know if you guys can see that. See how much is sticking up? Check that out. This here becomes really sharp. And on the race car, we got lots of zip ties. And we're all over this car when we service it, you know, in 50 minutes, you know, in between rounds, completely rebuilding the engine, that kind of thing. So one thing you don't want is zip ties that look like this, because it'll slice you right open. So recommend to get yourself some flush cuts. Now, there's different kind of flush cuts. People that call flush cuts sometimes aren't flush cuts. This is a true flush cut. Now, I've made these, and if you take a look at them, you'll see there's no extra edge in between these two edges right here. So it's kind of like a razor blade almost at this point. See the other side, how it's, you know, beveled or whatever? Well, when these come normally, they're beveled on both sides. Now this side's not deep like the other side, but I go ahead and I put these things on the grinder and, you know, get them to it. It's just a razor edge. So when you do cut it, it comes down, I'm gonna say this, dead nuts flat. There's nothing there. See that? There's nothing there. That's the way you want it. That way, so there's no issue with you getting hurt, you know, handling these things or anything like that. They also make one of these cool tools. Now I know All-Star Performance makes these, and this is pretty trick. So this thing here, you put it up through the top like this, and you start pulling tension on it. I mean, it's got a pretty good amount of tension, and then you pull this second lever right here, and it cuts it off. And it's decently flush, but not as good as the side biters. Because you can probably watch, I can probably go in here and get some more on this one. Yeah, I was able to even cut more off with that. Now there's companies that make these like this, and maybe Harbor Freight's got some, I'm not sure. But I've never seen a pair at Harbor Freight that was, you know, completely flush like that. So you'd have to work on them. I know a company called Panduit. They make some, and they make lots of zip ties. All my zip ties come from Lowe's. They're UV. 800 of them is 20 bucks. So anyway, so we'll continue on here. So basically that's how I mount them. For whatever reason, I also make sure that the cord is flat. If it's twisted, you can see the cord, you know, a lot more per se than you could if it wasn't, you know. And then I try and pull them tight apart from each other. I've seen some of my other videos. When I go to cut these off in line, and say you got a 10-foot section, I always hit this one first, keep going down the line, because say if I cut this one, now I've got to rotate my hand back the other way to cut this one. It's just wasted time. So if you cut them all in a row, turn around and come right back, it saves you a good minute or so, because you're not sitting there going like that. Let's see here. Great zip tie tool with tension adjustment removes the extra end. Yep, it is pretty cool. Like I said, we work on them sometimes on the race car, but we usually end up coming back and final trimming them because, like I said, we're just all over that thing all the time. All right, so say this is a 10-foot section of pipe, and for video reference, it's not. So there's a couple things you can do here. So this strand, you know, isn't that much longer on the end. And say if this was 25 foot, it doesn't matter. But you can buy this stuff already with the ends on it, okay? You can buy it in Amazon. I'm sure some of these other holiday lighting companies have it in bulk. You can buy 100 foot of it. You can buy 200 foot of it. Doesn't matter, but it is by far the cheapest way to start on your Christmas lights is just buying bulk. And if you have your plans, you'll know pretty much how much wire you're gonna need. So anyway, so let's get started with that. So obviously we need a male plug-in because we need to plug into something. So this is what I have found. I buy these on Amazon. If I was gonna buy a whole bunch of them, then I would probably go to that Creative Hobbies warehouse deal, whatever it is. I'll look that up and maybe share that with you guys. So this is how you do it. So, for example, though, I'll show you how it used to be done. And this is before I knew about, you know, what these commercial people use on their Christmas lights. So, I used to buy these things, and they're time consuming. And you can get them at Lowe's, Menards, and all these other places. And you can see here, like this screws together, and then this cover pops off, and then you have to screw the wire, you know, shield the wire, pull it apart, expose the wires, screw them down on each one of these prongs inside here, screw this back, or, you know, push it back, screw those back in, boom, you had an end, right? Same thing with the female. They have a locking deal that kind of sandwiches, but you still have to strip the wire, undo a screw, and still do the same thing. Very time consuming. And guess what else you can't do? You can't put these mid-cord. And I'll show you that here in a second. So anyway, the professionals. Check this out. This here is your male plug. And look inside here. You can see those two little prongs that are in there. You can see that too, right? Those two little prongs that are in here. Check this out. So this wire, another thing we'll talk about too real quickly, is that these are in parallel. What parallel means is that the wire is not going in, up through the bulb, back down, and then continue on, you know, one wire, right? Because if we did that and we had one bulb that was bad, then none of these would work because the electricity wouldn't be going to the next one because it's the filament is the connection. But that's not how this is. Electricity is from one strand all the way down to the end and comes back, and that's the other. So basically it's a loop. So it doesn't matter if I have this bulb out or not, it's still looped. And so one light won't affect all the other ones, okay? So, and that also makes it easy for these. So anyway, if you can check this out. So here we are, we're gonna plug this in either to the next light set, or this one's gonna go to the extension cord or whatever you wanna do. And another thing you can do is you can remove these. There's two tabs that are located on the inside of this. It's kind of a bitch to do, there's no doubt about it. There's two tabs inside there, and what you can do is you push those tabs apart. This bottom edge, you can see right here, pops off. I might have one laying around here. I do. So it looks like this. So it pops off. Here's the two little clips that this thing does right here. And it only goes really one way, and then this pushes together. So you pop this off, and now you have more cord without this. Now there's two little puncture marks in there, but you know what? I haven't worried about that in 6 years. If you're worried about it, then you can put some tape on it, maybe a little silicone or something like that if you don't like it, but I haven't worried about it. I haven't had issues, but I'm not saying to do it that way. The safer way would be just to go ahead and probably tape it up or whatever, but I'm not that kind of guy. I live life on the edge. All right, back to this. So, this piece here, this is your male plug. This wire, you see it's flat. This is gonna lay right inside. You see that, how that is? It's gonna lay right inside. Take your fingers and just push it in there. So now those little prongs that are in there are gonna pierce that wire. Then you're going to take its little cap. Sorry about that. Okay. Take its little cap, and you'll see that one end has a tang on it in the middle. You see the other side doesn't, right? That's the side you're going to start with. And all you're going to do is slide that cap right on here. And it's getting really tight. And if it gets too tight, then what you can do is take a pair of pliers like this and just push it on all the way. That is how you terminate a male. That's it. So now let's go to the female end. So for sake of whatever, I'm going to cut this off. And I'll show you a couple of cool things that you can do here. Say we want to put a female end on this. And what else is cool is I can slide this thing off and it's reusable. So if I change how my string's going this way or that way or whatever, but I am not a handyman. Oh, I am not a handyman or an electrician. What are you? you know what? I'm I guess, what am I? Well, I mean, my title is crew chief for a top fuel dragster. My next title is God-fearing husband of 4 children with an awesome wife, sometimes, most of the time. And fabricator, machinist, all self-taught, almost everything. I'm 54 years old, and I feel like I've done a little bit of everything, not because I did it because, you know, one time I didn't have any money. I had to learn this stuff myself. And a good friend of mine, old Chris Newton over here, he knows exactly what I'm saying because he went down the same road. And so I'm not making any money on this deal. You know what? TikTok gave me a little money for having all them views and stuff, but believe me, I don't live on that. It's, you know, $20, $30. I don't live on that. All I want to do is show you guys how to do Christmas lights. And if you like weld and fabricate and stuff like that, you're gonna learn a lot from me. If you look back in some of my other videos, definitely you can see that I have a certain way of doing things. It's because I'm older and I've learned how to do it the right way. I'm not saying that my right way is the best way, but I guarantee you, it's pretty damn close. If I'm talking about it, I probably know what the hell I'm talking about. Now, Christmas lights, I'm just mediocre. But I have some damn nice Christmas lights, and now my neighbors are doing it and everything else, and they've been doing it for a couple years, and they got some nice Christmas lights, but nobody, I'll put more on if they keep messing with me. I will. I'll light that whole block up if I have to. Anyway, so coming back to, it's the same gig, right? Here's the female, right? So we've cut the wire to whatever length that we wanted. You know, we'll insert that puppy like this, do the same thing. We're going to put on the cover. Remember, it goes on one way. Slide her on. That gets pierced. Okay, so there's a light string at whatever length that we wanted. Now, let me give you another cool part. Hopefully I got enough stuff here. This female plug, check it out. All right, I say female because you can stick stuff in it. I didn't come up with that. Electricians or somebody did. One end of it, you'll see, is where the wire goes into. The other end, you'll see, it's blocked, right? You got that? It's got that? And blocked. So, but if you look really close, you'll see that there's indentions right there. So this is what you do. Take some pliers, and actually you could probably just take a screwdriver or something, work this back and forth. I kind of clip them just a little bit. And then just kind of work this thing down. Okay, so voila. Now you can see through it, see that? So each end is open. Got that? And say now we want to run a T, right, off of this light string. Say we're going to go around the corner, and if we went around the corner, we would probably just plug into it, you know, as it's running one direction. But say we're mid, you know, I know a good example. On my front porch, you'll see that there's some posts that come straight down. There's 3 big posts. So in order to come off of those, I didn't want to run something on the ground and, you know, have people tripping over wires and all that kind of stuff. So what I did by doing this is you go mid, what I call mid takeoff. So you can go in there, put this puppy in there, right in the middle of your wire, right? Put your end on. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so put your end on, you know. So this thing is setting in between bulbs, right? So now you can just take off right from there, go into your next string, and your next string can come just to a straight dead end. Pretty cool, huh? So that's how these guys don't have all these extension cords and all that stuff running around. And are you at the Snowbirds talking Christmas lights? No, I'm not. But a buddy of mine there is running his Pro Mod car. I got a lot of friends down there running. And I would like to have been there, but anyway, he ran his fastest pass ever in a Pro Mod. Like went 369 at 1/8 mile. You know, we only run 3 seconds in an 8 mile with our junk at, you know, 285 miles an hour, so whatever. Anyway, So anyway, so there you go. So now you know how to take off, you know, from a string in the middle of lights. You know how to end it. You know how to start it. And I always recommend doing this before you go and throw it up on the roof, right? So let's put some bulbs in this thing and just see if it works. Do most of this stuff without the bulbs in it so they're not clanking around, but I'm telling you, you can clank these things around. I drag them across concrete and all that other crap, and they still work. Ran over one with my truck because I have them right by the driveway, you know? So, there you go. Boom, light bulbs. With a T. Holy shit, you guys see that? Anyway, with a T, and with the end on it. Does anyone have any kind of questions on that? Stamps are set and the best thing to come in my life. Okay. Are they special bulbs you use? Okay, yeah, again, oh, don't worry about it. It's indestructible, just like my light bulbs. Yeah, it's an LED C9 and holiday outlet. I bought mine on Amazon, but holidaylightingoutlet.com. I have no way endorse them, any kind of crap, but maybe someday they will endorse me. I don't know, but we can always hope. Anyway, so I think we've covered all that stuff. If you look back at some of my other videos, I show you how to mount the clips, you know, on gutters, on fascia board. Then there's a big thing about screwing into your shingles and things like that. Well, there's good ways and bad ways for sure, okay? And I think my video maybe didn't explain a lot of things. I was trying to put everything in, you know, 60 seconds. So, but what I've seen done, and I have done it too, and believe me, some of that stuff's been up for 6 years. I've used a stainless steel screw clip. I go to the outside edge of the shingle, very outside edge, where the plywood and everything else is nailed down into the 2x4s or the rafters, right? And I take, it's called Through the Roof. And what it is a bonding agent. It's in caulk form, and you can get it at Lowe's, Menards, and all these other places. There's several people. 3M makes one, all that kind of stuff. So I glue the screw, I glue this area right here, and then where I'm drilling on the shingle, I glue that again. So then I go right down through all that stuff. Now, there's a lot of debate on if that's going to leak or not, you know what I mean? Do I recommend it? Probably not. If you go through all these steps, I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I've done it now for a long time, and believe me, I've been in the attic now since everybody freaked out and looked. There's nothing going on. Matter of fact, the screws don't come through because they're on a rafter, you know, and I actually have a clip too. And the only reason why I haven't showed you guys this clip is because no one else has got a clip like it for PVC, for holding PVC and stuff like that. And so I've already did like some of the patent stuff on it. Matter of fact, they've done a search on it. I should have results back like on Monday or Tuesday. At that point, then I can actually file the provisional patent. So I really don't want to like get that thing out there right now. Because if I stand to help anybody out, maybe that's just one way I can do selling clips or whatever. But everybody keeps talking patent and all that kind of stuff, and kind of scared me a little bit. So I'm going to hang on to that one for a little bit. But you can also just attach this to, a lot of them have the vent cap that's on the top of the roof. You can do that. You could fabricate you up some kind of piece of metal or whatever and mount you one of these on it. Stick that under the, what are those shingles called going across the very top?
Just the cap.
It's called the cap, yeah. So they're laying, you know, on top of each other sideways or whatever. So you could slide one underneath that and that kind of thing. So, but there are a lot of things that are out there that you could probably modify and do that. But I think mine is going to be probably one of the better ones. I just can't share that with you right now. I showed you guys the Hella clip, and I've done a lot of different modifications with those. I sold a bunch of these, but I kind of quit because I want to go on to this next clip. But this is kind of the gist of it. You can kind of see how it goes underneath, and it has these little marks on it right here that actually, if you look really close, you can see that they come through and they grab hold of shingle, and then this piece here has got a bend on it, and it supports this piece from twisting. And you can see how it's not a screw, it is, you know, a blind rivet. I'll just punch this thing open. You can see how that thing's on there. So that's not going to come off. And so that's one way you can come in, slide in through the side of the shingle. That way you put your PVC on. The other one I have is modified from this, and I don't think anyone else has got it, so we're going to go with that. And I didn't know all this stuff was going to be kind of blow up on Christmas lights, so I really wasn't prepared for that. I've done stuff for my neighbors and things like that, and I've done some stuff for some of the people on TikTok, but right now I'm not even answering emails that much. Maybe I'll do that later tonight or whatever, but it was just kind of overwhelming how many people wanted clips and that kind of thing. And I did offer 3 colors: white, brown, black, and then just stainless, you know, because these are stainless spring steel, so they don't rust, that kind of thing. The stainless ones, I don't know about that. I'd always want them colored because they're going to stay up all year. This one's going to stay up. And other people have asked, where did you get your male and female ends? Okay, so I got them actually from Amazon. And if you look on one of my videos back, it shows that. It might not show the part number, but I do have, you can kind of see here, so Creative Hobbies is the company. Let's pull this little thing out right here and take a look at it. And like I said, I haven't bought them from them, I just bought them from Amazon. If I didn't like them, I could return them. And then I just kept going with it at that point. Let's see here. Nothing on here saying who it is. But, you know, it does say that you can take that end, right, that you cut off. Whatever. And to make it more secure in case you're yarding on this thing, right, you can take it, and it's a little bit of an extra effort. You can shove this down inside and then bend it over, right? So shove this down in there, then bend it over, and then it holds it. So that does work a little bit better. Just my lazy ass, I just haven't done that. So anyway, that is definitely a better way to do it. So anyway, Amazon, and I want to say it's like, I'll be lying. I think I put the price on there. I'm not sure I did, but I want to say 5 of them were like, they're like over like $1 a piece or something like that, generally for these. But you can use the factory end on the lights. There's one, so then you just got a female on the other end if you're going to shorten it or whatever you're going to do. So anyway, so there's our lights, these. What else you guys want to talk about? I think I kind of went over the mounting deal. I know the standoff brackets, okay? So say you're mounting on the side. I call it a fascia board. Other people call it a gable board. I call it an arch because I'm not a design artist for like an engineer or architect. There you go. How's that? I do have engineering, but anyway. So the shingle overhangs the fascia board like that. So if you were to put one of these clips, you know, straight on the fascia board, then the shingle's still hanging over. So there's no way you can get, you know, the PVC, you know, in it at that point. So it's simple. What I do is I just take a piece of the 1/2 inch and I cut a piece like 1 inch, whatever the width of the shingle hanging off is. And then I just take this, go through here like this, and then take a screw. It goes all the way through, right? Both of these. And so when it's mounted on there, it's basically like a, you know, it looks, oh shit, hang on a second. Basically kind of looks like that. So now it's stood off away from the board, and when you put the lights in, they miss the shingles. And people, there's a big debate on if you like your shit sticking up or if you like it down. Somebody made a comment to me like, it's cool when you stick them down, so you can just turn the PVC deal, right? So I put mine on like this. I think it's kind of cool. But so you can just go like this, right? Boom. You've now mounted them upside down, and then the white fascia board, that's usually what's on homes, right there, is going to be lit up also, you know? So it's a different look. Maybe I'll go around and turn mine all around or something. But people were wondering why people put it this way or this way. My deal is that this stands up from the roof, so when you're driving by, you can see the bulbs throughout the whole house instead of looking like, if it's hidden behind a board, you can't see those lights until you drive on by. Oh, yep, there's the lights. So it has more of an effect of, seeing all the roof lines and gutter lines and all that kind of stuff. That's why I do it that way. And the bulb is safe being stood up. The water's not going to run into them. And again, these things are hard as a rock. You're not going to hurt them, and unless you run them over with your truck. But it still worked. The bulb was broke, but the light still worked. So I got that going for me. Have you ever answered this? But where do you get the wire from? Yeah, I did. And so on Amazon, again, they should pay me. They sell this in bulk. So you can buy 100 foot of it. You can buy 200 foot of it. I'm sure there's even bigger rolls than that. And it's just like this right here. There's no ends on it. It's just bulk wire. So you cut it to whatever length you need. And if you did your design work, right, you pretty much can be within a foot or two on the length of what you're going to put up, So it's easy peasy. It's hella cool. How's that? And anyway, they make black, they make green, and they make white. I looked, and I had to use some green the other day because what I did is at one point, when everything goes on sale at Lowe's or Menards or whatever, I go in and I'll try and buy, some extra strings and things like that. And it'll be on hella sale. And so I buy them like that. So I'll take those 20-foot strings, green or whatever, and I just go ahead and buy those up. If they have white, I definitely buy those up because you can get them for like $5 for 25 foot. And so that's the cheap way to do it. If not, this way also, the bulk way is cheap to do also. I wouldn't say just completely cheap, but it's pretty damn inexpensive because you're buying it in bulk. But the other day when I was on Amazon, I couldn't find any white. They had plenty of black, they had plenty of green, but I couldn't find any of the white. So anyway, it's pretty hella cool. Does anybody else have any other questions? I know that the Mr. Christmas, people asked, it has 6 sections of lights. So when you're mapping this deal out, what you're going to do too is you're going to map like, okay, so you're going to have bulbs, up this way, right? And then you're going to need to feed this string of lights. So you're going to have to maybe put, a female connector up there, and this part and this part and this part might light up. That'd be one section. And then maybe you want this side and this to light up to be another section. So you need to kind of map that out before you get all crazy. And that would, how many can you connect together? On one string, I probably have, I don't know, 150, 200 bulbs maybe, 150, it's my biggest one or whatever. So, but I also have, in one of my videos, I showed you the spotlights. So you can see on my gables or arches, you'll see that they're lit up. It has like 2 red and 1 green in the center. And those LEDs are on the same circuit as a lot of the lights. And there's 3 LEDs in each one of those. You can see how bright they are. But like again, LEDs don't have a lot of draw to them. They save so much money and electricity. Like here in our shop, we have a lot of LED lighting, and it saves a tremendous amount of money on our utility bills. So you won't have that issue if you had regular light bulbs that put off a bunch of heat, that are subject to breaking and all that kind of stuff. Those lights actually eat some energy, I'm telling you. And so if you put a lot of those together, you're going to have an issue. It's going to be too much of a draw. First thing it's going to do is probably burn up Mr. Christmas. He's going to probably be done. But if you put an LED, they're really responsive. So flashing on, off, where incandescent light has to light the filament, shut back down. So it's way more snappier, in your light show. And like I said, it saves a lot of energy and they're way more durable. But Mr. Christmas, going back on that, it has 6 different things on it. 3 of them are big main ones that do a lot of work. The other 3 are less, so I use those as accent. And I'll watch it for a second. If I don't like it, I just switch a couple plugs real quick because everything comes down to the box. And it's not rocket science, man. You can have whatever kind of extension cord or whatever you got going into this thing. You want hefty stuff to feed the box, like, the bigger wire extension cord, so it's not in case there is a big draw issue, so it's not, you know, struggling. Like you don't want to use a light cord this size to feed all your whole circuit, you know. It'll tell you. It'll either quit working or the breaker will go off, you know, or you're gonna burn wires up inside your house. That'd be like if you had a bad breaker or something. But anyway, so use a good heavy cord to power Mr. Christmas. Use decent cords to power each one of your sections, and that should get you going. I just use a bucket truck. You know what? So I used to rent down the street, you know, typical rental place, and they have a man lift. You know, it's a 45-foot man lift. So I used that before, you know, going completely to PVC, and it's just a pain in the dick, man, because you got, you know, these stupid ass clips, wherever the hell they are. And so each one of those clips, you have to like install the light bulb on, right? Put the light bulb on, twist it around, make sure it gets this thing connected. Then you got to push it onto the shingle. Then you got to pull the next one, and then you got to kind of sit there and modify it back and forth a little bit until it's, you know, straight with the other one. Because I'm not going to put lights on that are all twisted and junked around. I think you might as well just throw them in the trash can if you're going to do it that way. So anyway, and then when it's time to take them off, so you're grabbing one end of it basically, because nobody wants to get back on their roof, you know, January. It's cold as hell around here and all that kind of stuff. So just grab an end of it and you're just pulling them off the shingles. Well, the clips are all breaking, the whole 9 yards. So say you do get up and you got the plastic clips on here and you're pulling them off individually. Some of them still break, I'm telling you right now. Some of them still break. And then when you go to wrap all these things up and you lay them into a box all beautifully, like you're sitting there stringing them all into a box. When you go to pull them out, I guarantee you, if you look at the first beginning of my big video, you look at it, that's just me being cool, trying to pull them out without them all catching on each other. And then the clips are breaking, and then you're out there like twisting this thing around, trying to get it straight again, which is a bunch of crap. So anyway, these here, people asked also about what do you do with them, you know, when you're not using them. Okay, so you can put them in your basement. Like, okay, so most basements now have a window in them. One's usually for like the bedroom. My basement's not finished, so I zing these puppies down through the window. Then I get downstairs, I pull them in, and then I use big ladder hooks, and I just go ka-chink, and ladder, boom, right there. And I put them up high, they're not in the way, and you know, I probably have, when I put all my, it's probably about this big around all the PVC, so you could actually do 2 sections of it. In the garage, I have an area that's up high, right by where the garage door comes down, right where the track is. Generally, you don't have anything there. If you do, you're very creative. But generally, there's nothing there, and you can hang them right there, too. That's another great spot for hanging them. One thing we didn't talk about is that what you need to do is, I don't have one in front of me, but I just use a black Sharpie and, you know, a permanent Sharpie, and I write on here, like, where this thing's going. So, yeah, here you go. So, like, say you got a bigger arch than the other one, so you could just put on here, big arch, right? Right-hand side. And this one here would be like feed going in, right? So you'd write all that on there real quick, and that way next year when you're pulling this thing out, all you gotta do is look at it and go, oh yeah, big arch, right-hand side, oh, feed's going in. This is the end, this one goes up, this one goes down, this one's to the right, this one's to the left. So you idiot-proof it, right? And so it's a no-brainer. So then you pull the racks out of your pipe, you just throw them on the ground wherever you're gonna put them, and then go to, right? You just go to the order which way you wanna put them on or whatever, tall ones first or whatever. And there's another thing, if you look in one of my videos, like on my gutter install, you can see how easy they go in. So you take, you know, it's 13 foot long, so it's a 10-footer plus a 2.5-foot piece on it. And I take it, I'm holding it by one end, I position myself in 2 of the clamps and clip them in, and the other side's just hanging. It don't care. Just move your ladder, grab that side, plunk it on. To get them down, I use, it's a stick that is, it's adjustable, right? And I just seen online they have this other cool stick that maybe has some kind of grabber on the end of it, which I gotta check that out because mine's just kind of a homemade, put together deal. I got it on, I got it at Lowe's. Right? It's a Black Hawk. Me and Chris went there one time and they were having like some kind of, what the hell was it? It was like a big clearance deal. Like they had changed CEOs or something, and he went through and just like cleaned house. So anyway, I bought a bunch of these adjustable painting sticks is basically what they are. So they go from like 4 foot to 8 foot. And then I put like a shelving claw on the end of it. And man, I just reach in there with those two things and it's boom, pop it out of the deals. Then I grab it in the middle and twist it and pull the rest of it out, and it stays, you know, kind of in a bind. So it stays on the claw like this, and you just drop it down. And that's how you remove most of them. On the gables and arches, say what I do is, say this is not there. These are connected. All right, I leave one loose. This on the other side goes down the other PVC, right? So now you have two long pieces of PVC, but this one here in the center. So what I do on it is I'll take a couple zip tie around this, and then have a loop on it. And then up on the gable, I take a regular screw-in hook. You know, it's probably it's not 1/4 inch, it's smaller than that, it's like 3/16 or something like that. It don't need to be that strong. And I screw that right in the center of that gable, right up by the shingles. Put a little silicone on it, screw it in to where the hook is up. So pretend like, you know, you got PVC hanging, you know, from here and here, right? So now you got, maybe it's 15-foot string this way, 15-foot string that way. So I'll take that stick and I'll get up on a ladder, that's a 10-foot ladder or whatever, and I take that stick and I put it on here like this, and I reach up there and I hang those two long PVCs by that zip tie, that's a loop right here, hang them on the hook, and so now you have the two long pieces of PVC hanging. I'm not even on the roof. So now I'll go to one end of that big gable, right, the big arch, go to one end, and I'll take that very end of the PVC, pretend like I haven't got a hold of it, and then snap it on to my deals that are on the end, and then just walk myself up with the ladder and the stick, and you can sit there and just punch these things right in. And the only part you're getting on the ladder is it's like 10 foot, if that, 8 foot or whatever, just so that you can reach the top of that gable. On my second floor, I have a big arch that you have to get on the roof of like the porch area, and I just get on that. And it's not as high as my big gable that's over the garage, so that one I can just stand there and push it up on there. And then when you go to take them down, right, you're hooking them, you pull them off of the fascia, or whatever board you want to call that. You pull them off the fascia, and now they're hanging on the hook, right? So then you reach up with your tool and you pull it off the hook, and you come down and you just lay them down. So you actually haven't, like, you're not up on the roof at that point, you know, to put them back up and stuff. And then with plastic clips, you're gonna be ripping that down. Nobody wants to get on a real high pitch roof, you know, and have to jack with that. So anyway, since my husband is ignoring my comments, hang on a second. It's not on that. Oh, what do you want to do for dinner? Hell, I might want to thaw out some chicken or something, honey. I'm sorry. I bet you
could have called me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could have called Chris. Yeah, whatever. We can make. I don't care. I have to think about that one. But sorry about that. Oh, here's your message. My bad. Whatever you would like to do, honey. I'm game. I'll cook whatever you want. Anyway, let's see. How much damage to the wood/gutters, or do you keep the screws and clips in the wood and gutters? Yep. I leave this stuff up, right? The clips, all that stuff. I silicone them, attach them with stainless steel hardware, and they stay in. Now on the gutters, I wish I had a chunk of gutter here to show you guys, because it has a ridge on it. See, the gutter goes like this, right? And then attaches to the house over here. And then the front ridge is kind of square. Then it goes down like this. That front ridge, if you screw into that, you're not getting into any area of the gutter that holds water at all, period. You're not. So somebody said, oh, you're gonna make your gutters leak. No, it's not. It's not gonna make your gutters leak, okay? It's not. You're not screwing into that area of the gutter. It's not like you're sticking it in the bottom of the gutter or some kind of crap like that. You're not doing that. So you have a steel roof. I've thought about this too. So all the steel roofs, all the screws that are in your steel roof have a rubber gasket on them, right? You can buy the rubber gaskets without the screws. So if you took one of those screws, put a rubber gasket on the bottom side of the screw, of the C-piece, right? So you're gonna put one of the rubber gaskets here. The other rubber gasket is gonna be in the top part, and you're gonna screw it right down into that. Put a little silicone on it, and I'm pretty sure that would be fine, because right now, guess what? Your roof is pretty much screwed on right now with, I believe it's a self-tapping sheet metal style screw with a rubber gasket on it. So, like, again, you can do that. It's very plausible. I haven't done one, but also where it's corrugated, right? Where it's square like this on a steel roof, you could take a clip and you can slide it on there, right? Once I show you guys my clips. Anyway, you can make your own. So you can modify something. Anyway, bye. Anyway, so I think that's the in and outs. The cool part of taking it off the gables, we went over that, how to mount them on the gables. Look at all my videos. I'm posting all my videos on my YouTube channel. I just started that. So you guys can go back and look at them, play them 100 times. Maybe YouTube will give me some money. I'm not sure. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Believe me, I'm not doing this for a living. But man, do I like to see nice Christmas lights. I hope that this has helped you guys. Like, again, I'll make a couple videos on how to do the ends. Got a lot of requests on that. So I'll make a video on that and get that posted tonight. And I think that'll do it for now. Probably be on to, I got a project coming up you guys are gonna like. So my barbecue grill, I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace. And it's pretty nice. Lowe's used to sell it, and it's got like a granite top on one side, and it's got a big barbecue grill, and it's got 4 burners in it, and it has an island that goes with it, and on the island is like a small flat, like a, what's it called, what are those called? The flat grills?
Oh, it's the griddle?
Yeah, what's those griddles, the brand that makes?
The Blackstone.
Blackstone, they make a griddle, so it has one of those, and it has like an area where you can put a pot and a pan, stuff like that, and it has a sink in it. So I bought everything, I think, for $500, and me and my wife tuned it all up, and everything looks real nice. Well, I'm more into the flat grill thing now than I am with char and stuff. You got to babysit your steaks really well and all that, and I pretty much cook all my steaks now into a nice stainless pan, with some olive oil, real hot skillet, some garlic, some thyme and rosemary, and lots of butter. Do that right now. And anyway, but I like cooking like fajitas and Chinese food and fried rice and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to convert that grill into a flat grill, so it'll have a hood on it, right? So not like a Blackstone where you have to put a cover on it and all this other kind of crap, and you got to wait for it to cool down, then put the cover on it. So I'm going to basically take a Blackstone grill and put it on the inside of my gas burning char grill. And so I'm going to show you guys how to cut those all down and do all that kind of stuff, and it'll be a kind of a cool video. But again, thank you all for joining in. I got to call my wife real quick, or she's going to be mad at me because I don't know what I want for dinner. Anyway, but you guys, thanks again. And check out my videos and my YouTube channel. And I guess we'll go from there. As soon as I figure out how to shut this off. All right, thanks guys, appreciate it. Live summary. Viewers, 1,696. 21 new followers. Top viewer, let's check her out.
Top viewer. Is that one that would have commented the most or liked most of your stuff?
Yeah. So her name is Ella. Look at this. So, all of them, pretty much.
If that's what they really look like.
Exactly, who knows? Anyway, so, I have 111,000 followers, 2.3 million likes. That one video has 11 million views. And every video after that is a minimum of 30,000 views. Between 30 and 230. There's one that's 16 that just has some plugs on it. 466, 58, 64, 43, 36, 29, 47. In my TikTok fund right now, creator fund, there's $747. Stupid. And then guess what you can do?
Pay for the Christmas lights.
Then you go into YouTube,
Yeah.
post the same shit. It's the same videos that you do on TikTok or whatever. Oh, I was recording that.